Hey, what's going on, everyone? Hope everyone out there has been having a great week. Today, we're going to go over distribution announcements. So, we're going to cover Hamilton ETFs. We're going to look at the Harvest High Income Shares. We're going to look at Global X. And then we are also going to look at a press release from Hamilton ETFs that they are announcing two new funds to their yield maximizer lineups. Guys, go ahead and hit that like button if you're enjoying these videos. And if there's any other ETF providers or funds that you guys want me to add into these distribution announcements, let me know. I could go over Evolve or Purpose or some of the other ones. I know they're really not quite as popular. So for today, we're going to cover these three. So we'll start with Hamilton ETFs. And we actually do have some pretty good news coming out of Hamilton ETFs. So if you go to their website, you can check out all of these funds in case you are a holder of some of these individual ones. But for the all-in-ones, which are HDIV and HYLD here, there has been two increases. So HDIV took a slight bump up to 1850 and HYLD with a slight bump up to 1550, which is really good to see. HMAX, stuff like UMAX, SMAX, and QMAX and stuff. Those ones we all know can fluctuate a little bit. So they do look more or less in line with what the last few months have been for some of these other funds. And then we've got the champion lineups, which do pay monthly, but usually it's quite a smaller percentage on the dividends. And then for the semi-monthly, we've got Q Day up at 21 cents. So a nice little bump up for that. S Day at 1820, and then C Day 1960. So that's I think a slight bump up from what the last one was from C Day. We will check right now actually and see what Q Day and C Day were before. So take a quick look at Q Day. So the last distribution was 1980. So that's a pretty good little bump from 1980 to 21. And then C Day was 1880 and gone to 1960. So that is the announcement from Hamilton ETFs, guys. The big ones here, again, with HDIV and HYLD, just a small little bump, but nonetheless, nice to see that. And then for Harvest, we've got their high income shares here. So we'll just kind of slowly scroll through here so that you can see what changes there have been, if any. The nice thing I like about the Harvest website is they do have these little blue arrows. So you can see on the Amazon one, there's been an increase. There's been an increase on the leveraged and the non-leveraged Amazon funds. And then for the rest of them, it looks like no changes. Coinbase, so the Coney is gone down. PLTE has gone down. HHIS is staying steady at 27 cents per share, which is nice to see. The enhanced Coinbase has dropped down. Netflix has dropped down. Circle has dropped down. Reddit has dropped down. SoFi has dropped down. Novi has dropped down. And then we start to get over to the Canadian ones here. So we've got an increase on CNQE. We've got an increase on Suncor. And then that has led to an increase on HHIC. So HHIC now is the all-in-one Canadian Harvest Canadian high income shares. So they've gone up to 20 cents per unit, which is nice to see. I've been noticing over the last few months, there's been quite a few of the single stock harvest funds where they have been going down, although some of them have been going up, like I said, with Amazon going up. But hopefully we can continue to see HHIS remain stable. They are at 27 cents per share with no changes. That's good. And we'll finish it off over at Global X. So Global X, here is the list of Global X funds. We've got BKCC at 14.5, BKCL at 25, BNKL at 12. And keep going through here. CNCL at 17. Their copper fund, CPCC, at 20.5. Let's keep going down. ENCC, it's been steady at 12 cents. I was really hoping ENCC would see a little bump, but they haven't. ENCL is at 26.5. EQCC at 17 cents and EQCL at 23. GLCC at 52 cents, GLCL at 44. Okay, let's keep scrolling through here, you guys. You can see all the distributions here. If there's any of these funds that you have, just either pause the screen or just check out Global X on their website. They have all the info here. The next ones are going to be QQCC, 13 cents steady, and QQCL, 31 cents. I believe there's been no change on these. QQCL, 31 cents. It's been going pretty well. Now we're going to get to some disappointing news here in just a second. And honestly, I wasn't really expecting to see this, but USCC's, steady at 12 cents, and USCL has dropped down to 23.5. Now, this is kind of disappointing for me just because I have so many shares of USCL, and at the same time, you see USCL just a slight half a penny drop, but when you see HYLD, which is supposed to be like their S&P 500 concentrated version or whatever you want to call it, US based covered call S&P style fund, bumping up the dividend, even just slightly bumping it up. But even if it wasn't bumped, even if it remained the same, and you see USCL dropping, I mean, USCL, it's just, again, I have so many shares that it does affect my monthly income when there is a slight drop. So I think this is going to lower my income by about $40 or something like that next month. But you guys can see here for 2026, we've been at 24 cents. And then 2025, it was at 25 and a half, and then it dropped down to 23 and a half. It went back up. So there's been quite a lot of variability, I would say, with USCL, which, of course, we want these ETFs to be sustainable and we want them to be managed properly and not paying out more than what they need to. But yeah, I don't know what the big difference is. I know there's some currency hedging and stuff like that with HYLD, but man, it's disappointing to see USCL drop that dividend down, especially when HYLD just raised it. So let's just go through the last few here. So that's USCL 23.5. And then we've got their Bitcoin funds, BCC and BCCL. They both lowered their distribution. So BCC was 17 cents. It's down to 15 now. And then BCCL, I think they were like 20, but they're at 17 cents now. And those are their semi-monthly Bitcoin plays. So there's the distribution news, guys. Hamilton ETFs, Harvest, and Global X. And then we will finish off this press release from Hamilton ETFs that they are announcing new plans to launch 2 yield maximizer ETFs. So what are they launching? They are launching CMAX. And it says here that the objective of CMAX is to provide attractive monthly income from a diversified portfolio of covered call ETFs, predominantly focused on Canada. So that's pretty cool, pretty interesting. And then they've got IMAX, which I find kind of a cool ticker name, but it's also very, very interesting and very good to see an international equity, like a high yield international equity fund come onto the market, especially from Hamilton ETFs. I really, really enjoy all of the products from Hamilton. And again, kind of like I was just saying earlier, is, I think I've got even more reason to lean more into the Hamilton products these days. But IMAX is set to provide attractive monthly income from a portfolio primarily exposed to international equities. To supplement distribution income earned on the portfolio, mitigate risk, and reduce volatility, IMAX will employ a covered call option writing program. So no details on the specific stocks for either of these. I could see both of these probably being added to HDIV. I could see IMAX maybe being added to HYLD as well. I don't know. Maybe not, right? I mean, CMAX would make sense, especially for HDIV, but IMAX, it would be nice to see a little bit of IMAX just to put a bit of that international exposure into the all-in-ones, but I guess we'll see. And if they don't, it's another international option that is out there for us investors. So that's the news of the day, you guys. That is the distribution news. Like I said, a couple of nice increases over at Hamilton ETFs. couple of changes with Global X and then a few from Harvest ETFs, but HHIS, their probably biggest fund, flagship fund, has been remaining steady at that 27 cents per unit, which is very good to see. So that's it, you guys. It's the end of the video. I hope everybody out there is having a great week. If there's any other fund providers, funds, or distributions that you guys want me to cover in the future, just leave them down in the comments, and the next dividend announcements, I will make sure to include them. Anyways, you guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Have a great rest of your week, and I will catch everybody on the next video.